Ready?
You're on, sir.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Lexi, did you want to give your spiel, please?
Yep, you guys are getting used to this. Just a reminder to use your mute function. If you would like to speak during the meeting or have questions, I just urge you to use the chat function in the top right of the screen. Or I will also open it up and ask for people who are not able to get to the chat function towards the public comment time. Just remember to speak slowly and loudly. Normal public comment rules will be followed. If you have questions or anything's going on with the video, sound, anything like that, use the chat function to let me know and we can get it fixed.
Set the mic.
Okay, thank you, Lexi. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Corbin.
Here.
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Commissioner Thill.
Here.
Mayor Dinner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda?
I'll move that. Second.
I got a motion to adopt the agenda by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Thill. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Thill.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner.
Aye.
Commissioner Corbin.
Aye.
Mayor Dinner.
Aye. Moving right over the appearances and acknowledgements into consent calendar.
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the consent calendar. Jen, you want to take roll call vote?
Commissioner Corbin.
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Thill.
Aye.
Mayor Dinner.
Aye. It is now a little past 5:30. I will open up the public hearing petition for the vacated of alley Northwest 2nd Street between North Van Epps Avenue and North Blanche Avenue. Chad, did you want to talk about this?
Yes, sir. This is Chad Comas, City Engineer. I can say a few things, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the Commission and members of the public who may be listening. I will speak some to what we've received, and of course, I would invite Finance Officer Heimers to also comment, as most of these petitions have been received into the Finance Office, and then also the resolutions developed by the Finance Office. I reviewed them as well. But there was a petition to vacate received, again, by the Finance Office for the alley between Blanche and Van Epps Avenue, the southern part of that block. The Commission acknowledged the petition and set the date of hearing, and today's the date of hearing. It doesn't appear the alley has been used for a significant period of time, and that's why the petitioners loaned lots on both sides, parcels on both sides, have requested to vacate it so they could use that. With that, I can stand by for questions.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to make a comment or discussion on this from the public? Anything on chat?
Chad, this is Commissioner Thill. Is there any electrical lines running up through there, or telephone lines that we should be aware of at this present time?
I might defer to perhaps Utility Director Lawrence may have a few comments about that. I talked to him some about that.
Yes, and
Commissioner Thill, this is Utility Director Lawrence. There are no electric lines running in the north and south section of that alley.
Thank you.
To my knowledge, there's no foreign utilities in that area either. There was some information shared with me from the petitioner or their agent from Norman Engineering, where they had reached out to some of those utilities about this vacation, and I have had no utility companies contact me with any questions or concerns about vacating this north-south alley.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
From the Finance Office, if I may, gentlemen, the notice of public hearing that you have in front of you was published twice as necessary per codified law. The initial petition that you received and acted upon a couple weeks ago does look a little bit different than what we're used to. This was a form that was used. We normally see these petitions come from a local attorney's office. So again, this looks a little different. Attorney Jenks did bless the content and the usage of this form. Therefore, then the resolution that you have in front of you was not drawn up by an attorney's office. It was drawn up by the finance office. I am comfortable with the content based on other resolutions that we have adopted in the past.
Is there any further?
Mayor, I have a question to Chad. Assuming if we did have some utilities in that area, we would be securing an easement similar to the process we took with DSU when we vacated 8th Street?
Yes, most certainly. We, as Utility Director Lawrence had mentioned, we don't have any electric in there, and of course it would be rare if we had any other utilities such as storm sewer or water lines or sanitary sewer lines in a alley. Streets are primarily where those are located, but indeed if we would have observed any utilities in there, we would have made necessary arrangements to retain an easement for our city utilities in that case, yes.
Any further comments on the public hearing? Not hearing any, I will close the public hearing portion of this and we'll move down into new business. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-10, vacate a portion of alley Northwest 2nd Street between North Van Epps and North Blanche Avenue?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
That was you, Commissioner Waldner, right, that moved it?
Yes.
That's correct,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. And Kelly, you seconded it. Okay. Is there any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, you want to take roll call, please?
Commissioner Corbin,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Commissioner Thill,
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Hi. Chad, do you want to get us up to speed on number 2, adopt resolution number 2020-11, approve a plat, lot 1, block 8, Lakeview Industrial Park addition?
Yes, I can say a few words. Thank you, Your Honor, and members of the Commission of the Public, for those present. Included in the agenda packet is a 2-page plat with the graphical depiction on page 1 and some certificates from the various city and county offices and the owner and the surveyor on page 2. This plat was approved by the Planning Commission at their last meeting, and this is a plat to establish the legal description, among other things, for Lot 1, Block 8, Lakeview Industrial Park. This is in accordance with the master plan, also known as the preliminary plat for said industrial park, and I would recommend approval.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-11, approve plat Lot 1, Block 8, Lakeview Industrial Park addition?
So approved.
Second.
Okay, is there any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, you want to take roll call?
Commissioner Thel,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Corbin,
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Mayor Danner.
Aye. Chad, you also want to speak on adopt resolution number 2020-12, approve a plat Stemper second edition.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, and the public, and any others listening. Included in the agenda packet are 3 pages for set plat, with the first page being aerial depiction, plan view of the plat, and with the other pages being certificates, as I'd indicated for the previous plat. This plat is actually a plat that's immediately adjacent to the city limits. It's just outside the city limits. The city has jurisdiction provided by statute to review plats within a certain area adjacent to the city, up to 3 miles from the city limits. The city, within ordinance, has requested that authority and stated that authority, and so pursuant to enforcing those ordinances, when those plats come forth, we coordinate with Lake County and review them in accordance with the appropriate standards in our subdivision regulations. In this particular plat, some of the items that we looked for were the fact that our comprehensive land use plan shows the road on the north and on the west side of this plat as a future collector road, and thereby we are obligated to require that additional right-of-way is provided for such time that road may be developed into such road. With collector roads are typically a wider road, additional utilities included in them, and so forth. And so we coordinated with Mr. Golden, he's the surveyor here, and the owner, Kurt Reineke, and others, along with the Lake County, to have this reviewed in accordance with our subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission did review it. They recommended approval, as do I. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chad. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution number 2020-12, approve the plat Stemper second edition?
So move.
Second.
Any further comment or discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, take roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Corbin,
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Thel,
Aye.
Mayor Danner.
Aye. Number 4, Jen, will you bring us up to speed on the ratifying mayor's signature on local government certificate emergency solution grant program, Interlakes Community Action Program, partnership, excuse me.
I will. You have as part of your agenda packet an already signed document by the mayor. This is unusual. However, we received this document from ICAP on April 14th, and it needed to be back to them on Friday, April 17th. We do see these about once a year. for different reasons. I believe our friend Eric was going to join the meeting tonight. Eric, are you there to make any additional comments, please?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, this is Eric Kunzweiler, the Planning Director of Interlakes Community Action. And with the passage of the CARES Act at the end of March, early April, there became some supplemental emergency solutions grant funding that became available and requires local government certification. The Emergency Solutions Grant program aims to help two specific groups, people that are at great risk of becoming homeless or those that are currently homeless. Services include helping with security deposits, rental assistance, case management, and it's aimed at helping participants to retain their housing, therefore avoiding homelessness or to re-enter appropriate permanent housing as quickly as possible. ICAP is applying for $380,533, which will assist approximately up to 50 households in the next 29 months is the length of the grant. And I'm here to entertain any questions you may have on the Emergency Solutions Grant Program.
Thank you, Eric. Do I have a motion to ratify mayor's signature on local government certification emergency solution grant program, Interlakes Community Action Partnership?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any other comments, discussion, questions for Eric?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
This is Mike Waldner here. Eric, I don't have any questions for you, rather than just, I want to just give a thank you for the work and the effort you guys are doing, not just now in this time, but what you've done during the flooding and other, I guess, struggles we've had in the city. So appreciate your work. Keep it up. Glad to help.
Thank you, Commissioner Walter.
Any other comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, take roll call, please.
Commissioner Corbin?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Hi. Jen, you want to talk about the number 5, authorize the mayor to sign placement agent agreement, Dottie, and company LLC water revenue bond.
Yes. You should remember that back on March 9th, the commission authorized the mayor to sign an acknowledgement letter with Doherty and Company, knowing that this agreement would follow that initial acknowledgement letter. You have before you then the placement agreement as received from Mr. Morris. I believe Toby is on the line. Are you with us, Toby?
I am, Jen. Hello.
Hi, I'm going to turn it over to Toby, please.
Okay. Yeah, this really just culminates really about the past 16, 18 months worth of work. I don't have the agenda in front of me. Jen, is the financing approvals on as well, right? So I don't know if I want to co-mix these or just keep them separate.
Yes, please. That's next up. So just your agreement right now. First Bank is next.
Okay. So this takes into account basically the past 16, 18 months worth of work, everything from working with USDA to get the $2 million grant to the multiple spreadsheets, timing, travel. You'll see in there I don't have anything for reimbursables. I just look at it as a flat fee. So whether I come to the beautiful town of Madison 5 times or 50 times, it allows the budget and everything that's applied for. It includes working with the banks as we send out the RFPs for the interim financing, and then we'll continue on probably with this for another 2 years, depending on the drawdown, coordinating it with, I would assume, First Bank and Trust
Thank you, Toby. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign placement agent agreement, Doherty and Company LLC water revenue bond?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further comments, discussion, questions for Toby?
If I may, the bottom line, $73,800 is budgeted for in the admin and legal piece of the RD budget.
Any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Corbin?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Number 6, authorize the mayor to sign construction financing proposal, First Bank and Trust Water System Improvement Project. Did you want Toby just to go ahead and speak on this, Jen, or did you have something before?
I will simply point out that, again, as part of your packet, you have a 2-page document as received from First Bank and Trust. I did have a nice conversation with Mr. Canoes this afternoon about future drawdown, requests, working together through this process. Toby, take it from there. I'll let you talk the details, please.
You bet. So what we did here is we solicited RFPs from local banks. The two that responded were Premier Bank as well as First Bank and Trust. I think given the time we're in, it was interesting. Some banks, I think, were just trying to analyze where the economic situation is and chose not to respond. Some banks came back and said, well, we want additional security, which in other words, like sales tax, your firstborn mortgages and so forth. And so I highly encouraged them to stick with the pledge security. So I would say from the two banks we had, they were competitive proposals. The interest rates are very favorable. I think when we first started out modeling this, we had a drawdown interest rate of about 3.5%. So we're now at a 2.65 of the amount that will actually be drawn down. So I would say, Mayor, members of the council, I think it was a strong response from our local banks, and would recommend approving it because it is right on target with what we're seeing with national rates.
Thank you, Toby. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the construction financing proposal, First Bank and Trust Water System Improvement Project?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further comments, discussion, questions for Toby or Jen? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Corbin?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Thank you, Toby.
Thanks, Toby.
Thank you.
Brad, I'll let you comment on number 7. Approve the withdrawal of bid number 892, construction of underground electrical primary, secondary service, and street light circuitry. You there?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you cut out for just a second, but I wanted to make sure you were done.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
This is first you should have a letter in your packet from DGR Engineering, and it addresses a request from Push Incorporated to withdraw their bid for bid number 892. Push Incorporated was the apparent low bidder after the opening. In the process of reviewing the bids, DGR determined that they thought they'd found an error in the bids, and after consultation with Push Incorporated requested to withdraw their bid as it is provided for in the bid package in section 16.03. And so there is a possibility within 24 hours, if they request it, that we would allow them to withdraw their bid and return their bid bond. So this is just per specifications.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Do I have a motion to approve the withdrawal of bid number 892, construction of underground electric primary, secondary service, and street electrical circuitries?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further comments, questions for Brad? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Corbin?
Aye.
Commissioner Thel?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner? Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye.
Thank you.
Brad, you want to get us up to speed on number 8, review and award bid number 892, construction of underground electrical primary, secondary service, and street light circuitry?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We had 4 total bids. Push Incorporated was a current low, which we've just allowed them to withdraw their bid. That left 3 bids. Those bids ranged from $303,000 to $311,000, with the lowest of those at $303,472 and 74 cents, with May Construction Incorporated out of Madison. And is our recommendation to award the construction project this year's upgrade to May Construction of Madison.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to review and award bid number 892, construction of underground electrical primary, secondary service, and street light circuitry?
I'll make a motion that we reject this because of the simple fact that we are going through a tough time right now with this virus, and we don't know what's going to happen. And we could sure keep that $303,000 in the budget for other things that comes up besides underground. We could table that for a year, and I don't think that would hurt us at all. We got a lot of stuff coming up here, folks, with the way things are.
The motion, just to be clear, because the word table was used, I want to be clear, we're not tabling the motion.
Okay.
Bob's motion, as I understand it, is to reject these bids. So that's the motion on the floor that will need a second.
Okay. Do I have a second? Did not have a second?
So that motion dies for lack of a second.
Right.
Now you can call the question that you asked first. Do you have a motion to approve the bids?
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion to review and award bid number 892, construction of underground electrical primary, secondary service, and street light circuitry?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. I guess I'd like to weigh in on this. I also agree with Bob where we should reject these bids. We don't know what our sales tax are going to do, our revenue from our utilities are going to do, and right now we don't even know what our property tax revenue is going to be. Also, with us right now in the process of shelter in place, this is a question for Brad about social distancing. My understanding is when we do these, our guys are closely working with these guys and even later hours. I guess my question is, how are we going to do that with shelter in place?
Mr. Mayor, we currently have our crew doing projects out in the field as needed. This would be an as-needed project. In discussions with Troy Hahn from May Construction, he's well aware of the concerns. He's well aware of the issues because he doesn't want any of his crew to be infected by this virus. And so we're going to have some very strict protocols put in place about how we're going to interact, how we're going to do the construction. And we both are under the impression that we could, depending on the situation, postpone this or delay this indefinitely to include all the way up to next year. And he's well aware of that, and we have that capability to work with Mr. Hahn from May Construction to determine what's in the best interest of both of our crews and be able to schedule this when the time is right.
Thank you. Any further comments, discussion?
Well, so if I understand you correctly, Brad, if we pass this, and actually I have two questions, but if we pass this, and there was a wave, a significant wave in our community of positive occurrences of the COVID, they would be willing to hold off on this for up to a year, this construction project? May, right?
Yes.
Okay. My second question is, what would the impact be if we did not do this at this time on the scheme or the planning within your department?
Probably my biggest concern is that we do have, in our rates, an upgrade plan for every single year. Following this year, we had some options of what we could do, and we'd like to get this overhead underground conversion completed, because then we can shut down 2 transformers at the power plant and a 3rd sub-transformer out on Division here, just south of 3rd. And so we'd be able to shut down these 3 transformers that have virtually no load on them, and they're just wasting energy. And that's an efficiency thing that we can do to make our electric utility quite a bit more efficient. Outside of that, what happens then is we start accumulating cash, and we'll end up with a significant amount of cash, and then we'll have to determine how we're going to get caught up with this. In other words, we have a certain amount of improvements scheduled for every single year, and if we skip a year, then we're going to have a pool of cash that we're going to have to figure out how to get caught back up with spending, if that makes any sense.
Kinda, yeah. Enough sense that I understand basically what you're saying.
We do have a lot of places where we can spend money, so that's typically not a problem. We have some transmission lines that need some updating, and we've got some substations that we want to look at for doing some updating. So we can certainly spend the money. It's just that we have to do the planning ahead of time and some of that, and that all depends on what we have for budget. So, we'll have to just work through that depending on where we end up this year with this project.
So go ahead.
No, you're first.
No, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor.
I can wait.
When we went to do the water billing, the bids came in significantly higher. Made the project, we were unable to do the project this time because the bids were high. Is this bid within the range you had anticipated?
Yes, the original estimate we had was $320,000, so this is actually roughly $13,000, or almost $17,000 below the original estimate that we had.
Okay.
I guess that was one of my questions. We budgeted $320,000 for the labor part of it, correct? And that's just this portion, right?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. What did we have budgeted for the materials?
I don't have that number right in front of me. We had, there's overall about $850,000 worth of improvements scheduled for the electric department. And so those are spread over multiple different projects with materials and different things being supplied from multiple different budgets. I don't have that breakdown right here in front of me right at the moment.
Okay. I can visit with you later on that. Thank you.
I do have the budget sheet here, FYI, our upgrade improvement line item 5433 is budgeted at $715,000. My notes say the electric distribution conversion project was budgeted at $520,000.
520? Thank you.
And again, those are my budget notes. May I ask a question respectfully? Just on the finance end, if the group decides to move forward with this and award the bid for the $303,000, and then later on in the summer it is delayed based on COVID, based on whatever, do they have to honor this price? Are there inflationary factors within that bid? Is it advantageous to agree to this, knowing that it might get pushed?
In my discussions with Mr. Hahn, he was receptive to carrying over the current pricing.
That would be solely dictated in the end by a contract. What does the contract say about delays, about
Which we don't have in front of us.
pricing carryovers, which we can't answer now? I mean, we can certainly accept Brad's statements at face value that Mr. Hahn's indicating some willingness to do this, but I wouldn't count on it either way until I know what people are signing.
Again, just a question then.
Well, I would like to see us reconsider this because like the mayor said, the tax situation, the sales tax, and just looks like we're about ready to dig ourselves a hole here that we may not be able to get out of, and it's not looking good out there. We got businesses that may not come back on Main Street.
It is important that we maintain these assets, and a part of the reason we charge what we charge for electricity is to do these upgrades. I hope you're not suggesting we start using electric funds that were supposed to be allocated for upgrades to supplement the general fund. According to the cash balances that your finance office sent out last week, it looks like we have the money available right now for this project. I would just remind you guys that if we do see a downturn this year in revenue, it'll affect next year's upgrade project. We'll just scale that back.
The cash that I rolled out to the group late last week, whenever I sent it out, we are in a very cash positive situation right now. Would not argue that. We are going into this pandemic and potential recession on a good note. Okay, but we need to keep our eyes on it. We need to keep our eyes on it every day and every week.
In our cash reserve policy, we reserved enough money to do this. It was included in our policy, enough money to do this entire project without taking any money out of revenues.
Any further comment, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, take roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Corbin?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Nay.
Mayor Denner?
Nay. Number 9, Kelly, this one's yours. Discuss 2020 summer status of the Madison Aquatic Center.
Thank you, Mayor. We've been discussing the impact, been looking both at what's been going on at the community center as well as in our own recreation programs. As you know, we've tried to keep the parks not used because of the COVID matter. I did poll, it's not an official vote, but I polled the Parks and Rec Board, and 4 of the 5 who responded recommended that we not open the pool this year. Okay, and I would agree with that. I do think Lori Bunker is on with us, and she may want to comment on this also. There are some risks, but Lori, do you want to go ahead?
I am, if you would like me to, for sure.
Please, please.
Okay, sure. Well, thanks, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. What's going to be a little strange is that since accepting the new position at the community center, I technically no longer am the coordinator who oversees the aquatic center, but I'll gladly provide any insight or answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability. Like Commissioner Johnson was saying, I had talked to several other cities and pools within our state. Most of them at this time have said that they are planning to wait until their May meeting to make their final yes or no decision. A few of them in our state have already said nope because of the tax deficits that we're going to observe, because we need to save a lot of that money, because we don't want to be an entity where if this COVID concern is still on top and we are still having to abide by social distancing rules, they didn't want to have a positive case that affects them. But the ones that are closed for sure are Arlington and Spearfish. Like I said, most of the other ones are waiting until their May meeting at this time.
I would suggest, due to some unique technicalities of the commission form of government, I don't care if you wait or not. I mean, personally, I think it'd be a good idea to wait until the May meeting. But whether you wait or not, I would recommend that you get a recommendation from the park board on what you're going to do here. And I realize that forces the park board to manage a meeting, which isn't necessarily easy or fun right now. But I would suggest that the city take a recommendation from the park board on what to do with the pool this summer. And perhaps that means that we are not deciding this until May 4th or something to that effect. But just a suggestion.
Right.
And I don't mean to short circuit this county.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm sorry,
okay.
Lori. I apologize.
That's okay. I was just saying that waiting till May might be wise, and just keeping in mind that we would need to let, well, a couple of things. So technically there isn't a recreation or aquatic coordinator hired at this time, and those positions have been pulled. I have talked to a previous pool manager who is interested in stepping up as a seasonal interim operations manager. She unfortunately lacks 2 necessary certifications to hold that position. So that's kind of a unique challenge that we run into. And then also just the timeline of getting everything ready that you need to for an outdoor pool. So those are just a couple of challenges that I think that we would need to take into consideration.
With that is having enough lifeguards. Lori had spoken and I had spoken about the other day. I think when we spoke, what was it, last Thursday, you had enough guards lined up, you thought, for both the Madison Aquatic Center and the community center pool. Since then, I believe the community center pool has been put on hold also. And
right.
The risk we run is this: she's got people lined up. If we ink them, we sign them, and then we close, we say we're not opening, we're in a situation where we're paying unemployment. So we don't want to put ourselves in that position either. Lori, asking you, do you think there's any difficulty in waiting till May 4th? Because I think we can put together.
Is there any difficulty waiting until May 4th?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say difficult, no. It usually takes depending on the weather too, the weather plays a big factor in the ability to get it ready for the season. And any problems that we may run into that needs to be addressed before opening. But normally it takes a good 4 weeks to get the shell and the building fully operational. So If we wait until May 4th, it might be challenging to open by our normal start date. But sometime at the beginning of June would be more realistic in regards to having everything unwinterized and ready for full operation. I think that if you run into July, you would have to really look at the cost of filling and starting up chemicals for only a month and a half. So I think that you would really want to look into that and opening any later than maybe say June 8th.
Thank you.
So you will have a meeting with the rec board?
Our next regular meeting is not until the 12th, I believe, of May. And that is longer than I would like to wait myself. We might be able to call a special meeting sometime this week, as long as we can get 24-hour notice and it's a single item that we're going to be talking about. And having spoken to some of the members, I know they'll want to do it just like we are right now. They'll want to, log in, teleconference, so to speak. So, but I think we can do that. If we could do it if we could get that vote with them this next week, there might be a chance we could get it on the agenda for the 27th, for next week, next Monday, and then we wouldn't have to wait till the 4th. The sooner the better, I think. Well, for many reasons. This is a difficult decision. We're asking another limitation for our community, for our kids especially, but it is clearly a concern. I spoke to a couple of communities over the weekend. They haven't made a decision, but they're sure they lean towards not opening. Okay? And that's the best I could do at this time. So this was just up for a discussion tonight.
Okay.
I'll see if we can put together a meeting. Lexi maybe can help us. We'll put together a meeting of the park board to discuss this issue. And get as David said.
Lori,
Yeah.
if we do choose to close the pool for the season, are there some maintenance or upgrade projects we could identify to get the pool in better shape for next year?
Well, I think we have one to finish right now anyway, don't we, Lori? We still have one.
Yeah, good question. So a lot of the maintenance and repairs. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So a lot of the maintenance and repairs that we're needing to be done, especially on the shell of the pool, the floor of the pool, the sides of the pool, and in our surge tank, 70% of that has been completed. MCNR Pools plans to return sometime this spring to complete the 30% of the work that's still needing to be done. So a lot of the things that will need to be happening are already scheduled to happen. From there, again, the unique thing is that there isn't a recreation person overseeing the pool as of now. I'm willing to help out as much as I can within the community center limitations and what the governing board puts on my position. But I think that also if things are needing to be done and we can communicate that with some of the water department or some of the parks department, I think that we can all work together to get those things accomplished.
What I've learned about running a swimming pool on an outdoor aquatic center versus a residential indoor one is phenomenal, the difference. And it's such a compacted time that we're working in, trying to get it ready. There is a significant cost just in getting it ready to get it open, So we want to make the right decision, because if we're not going to open it, we'll save some significant money there. And it's not just about saving money, but I don't want to fill it up and get it ready and then decide, no, we're not going to open it. That certainly will be a huge error by any means. So if this was just for discussion tonight, I don't think that it calls for any type of motion. I think I'll try to get a meeting scheduled of the park board, and then we'll see from there if we can get it on the record on that agenda for the 27th. Haven't gotten a vote from them, or the 4th.
Or
Yeah,
May
or the 4th of the
Okay.
latest. Okay.
All right. Public comment.
Nothing tonight, sir?
Does
Anything?
anybody in the audience have anything for public comment?
Nothing? Sorry. Announcements.
I have one.
Okay.
Citywide cleanup. This event has been the decision, our decision of, and this is an administrative decision, so I think it can be made without a vote. This event, citywide cleanup, has been canceled. 2020 Madison-wide city cleanup has been canceled over COVID-19 concerns. The annual Madison citywide cleanup has been postponed indefinitely. This decision was made to align with public health guidelines and to protect the community, our citizens, and our staff. As concerns about COVID-19 reduce over the next weeks or months, discussion about rescheduling may occur. That will be posted tomorrow on our website and on our email address. Okay? It is my hope that we can find some modified version of that, but right now we needed to make a decision about this for everybody's, so people aren't piling things up and getting ready for us, and also because then we can move ahead with some other kinds of things. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, I had a great time the other night, Saturday night. I drove into the parade by mistake. I didn't even know what was going on. I'd been out for a ride with my wife, and we came in from the south of town, and we got in line, and it was really nice. I was impressed. So whoever put that together did a great job, and all the participants, there were more participants this time than last week, so who knows, by next week we may be lined up for Ramona for all I know. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Election reminder very quickly, watch your mail. Watch your mail for said absentee ballot application. Fill out that application, enclose a form of photo ID, and send that back to your county auditor. Please use the vote by mail option.
If people do not have a form of photo ID, is there an option for that for them?
There is. Go to our website. It's thoroughly explained there. You can take a picture with your phone or your camera and email that in. If you check the box on the application ballot form that says for all elections, that will cover you through the rest of the calendar year. So depending on where November takes us, that will be legit. You won't have to do it all over again.
What you're talking about is the application to become eligible to get.
Yes. Yep, you got to start with that application.
Yep.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further announcements? Not hearing any. Do I get a motion to go into exec session?
So moved. Second.
Jen, do you want roll call vote on that too? No. Okay. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are now in exec session.